Hi, welcome back to Mac Makes Stuff. I'm Mac, and this is where I like to make stuff. It's been a while since I made a video, actually, but hopefully I can get back into it. We won't dwell on the past, and we will just look forward to some of the videos that I can make in the future, probably. Lots of stuff been happening. I have been filming a lot of things. Again, it's just sitting down to edit stuff. That is what I have problems with. But yeah, if you want to keep more up to date with some of my current projects, you can go over to my Instagram and my TikTok. They're both Mac Make Stuff there. And you can see a little bit more behind the scenes things as I'm making it. I'm in school right now, so you can see some of my school projects and other things that I'm up to. Okay, so we won't do a super long intro. We'll try and just really head right into it. This is my Laena Velaryons cosplay that I made about last year around this time. Yeah, I decided that I was going to do her wedding guest dress from Rhaenyra's and oh god, what's her husband's name? Rhaenyra and Laenor's wedding. Yeah, I thought that they just had such a incredibly slay intro as a family. And she just ate in this dress, so I wanted it as well. Yeah, so I ended up getting the fabric when I was on Christmas holiday one year, and I put it all together quite quickly, actually. So I was really proud with how it turned out. You'll get to see some of the reveal footage. I actually wore it as part of like a photography cosplay festival in my city. So the reveal footage is actually done by one of the really talented photographers that I worked with. So yeah, and I hope you enjoy. So we have a mock-up done. This is actually mock-up number 2 because the first one I ripped apart to use as the pattern pieces for this. So this is my Laena Velaryons dress. So first of all, when I cut this out, I forgot to add seam allowance. So it is just a hair too tight, so I just have to remember when I create my new pattern pieces from this to actually add seam allowance to it, and then it should be totally fine. So this is actually, the bust is in 2 pieces. So there's kind of this inside bit that just lays flat, and then this ruffle bust. This, I want it to be much more ruffly, like this is just a bed sheet, so I feel like it's not ruffling exactly the way I want to, but I want there to be way more ruffles for it. And you know, I had to do a little something extra with the sleeves, so obviously I had to change them a little bit. We couldn't just have them be flat and regular. Use one of the Mood fabric sleeves because I wanted to do like some lacing instead of just a flat sleeve. So that's what I've done here. All of these front panels are pretty good. I really like how they fall. I didn't add the gores that are in the side yet. Yeah, overall, pretty successful mock-up, I think. Yeah, and now I'm ready to procrastinate cutting out the fabric because I'm scared. So I've just finished stitching up most of the pieces for the front of the dress. It's looking good so far, but I'm starting to think a little bit more about the back and how there is lacing at the back, which is amazing, and it goes pretty far down, but I'm thinking I might want to try and incorporate like an invisible zipper hidden in one of the back seams just to make it a little bit easier to get in and out of. Okay, I'm gonna carry on, and I'm just gonna try and get as many of the pieces together now as I can while I have time. Okay, so it is after the holidays. We're coming back to my Laena dress, so let's just do a refresher of what we have so far. The bottom of the skirt has been put together. I still need to add things like boning and any lacing at the back. Yeah, and that's kind of it, really, things that I've put together. I have about 4 weeks left to finish this project, which in theory should be enough time, should everything go well. Yeah, so today my goal is to finish off the sleeves. If you remember, I'm using one of the Mood fabric patterns that I've just altered slightly, so it looks pretty straightforward. I should be able to do it. I've created my little lacing strips here. These were so hard to turn out, actually, so I hope that I have enough, because if I have to stop and make more, that is definitely going to hinder my progress. But goal today to finish the sleeves. Hopefully we can get that step done, and then it'll be the bodice after that. Okay, let's go. Okay, so it's the afternoon, and so I have worked on the sleeves. This is what I have so far. I've added all of my little loops here, so I think that's most of the hard part done. I'm not going to close them up just yet, just because there's the ruffle along the top and probably some top stitching that I want to do first. So I'm going to move to the ruffle along the top of the dress first, just to see how that turns out before I start trying to experiment with the sleeves. So I've cut out this long gold piece that I'm going to use for that, and now it is quite ruffly, so the part that I'm going to use, I know some people use fishing line. I have some really thin wire that I'm going to try and use, so we'll try that out and see how it goes. All right, to review what we did yesterday, I added the loopies to the sleeves, and then I added the bodice. I just pinned on the trim for the bodice, and then I added the ruffles. So today, there's gathers at the bottom of the ruffle, so I'm going to finish stitching that, and then I need to add a ruffle to the end of the sleeves before I close them up, and then I attach them to the rest of the dress. I think I can do those today, and then after that it will just be mainly finishing up the hemline, adding some boning, and closures at the back. I say that as though those aren't just like a bunch of tasks. But I think I get those two things done today. Stitching the rest of the ruffle on the bodice, adding the ruffle to the sleeves, and putting the sleeves on the rest of the dress. I might have to do more lacing for the sleeves. We'll see how that goes. But if I do, that'll probably be a later problem, not right now. Okay, let's go. Okay, so it's ended up being a little bit later in the day than I wanted. I've come back from dinner. I have my little crescent moon shapes that I'm going to use for my sleeves. I really want to try and get these done today. So yeah, I'm going to sew the two pieces together, ruffle them, attach them to the sleeves, and hopefully I can get them on the dress tonight. We'll see how that goes. Today was just not as productive as yesterday, so you know, these things happen, kind of the ebb and flow during a project. Yeah, but hopefully we can make some progress tonight and have maybe most of a gown. I've kind of like been holding it up, and it looks all right now. I definitely think it'll look a lot better with the boning, and I'm slightly worried that maybe I made it like just a little bit too small, but there's definitely room that like at the back I can like put a panel for the lacing, so I'm not too worried about that, but we'll see. But the front is looking good, so that's really all that matters. Okay. I'm feeling quite good about my progress today. So I double checked my reference photos. Always do this when you're making a cosplay. So I was going to stick the sleeves on kind of with the ruffle all across the top, but actually it goes across the top and into the back panel of the dress. So
I decided just to put the sleeves onto the dress now and do the ruffles later. I'm probably going to leave the ruffles as one of the last things to do. What I'm going to focus on now is adding the boning. I feel like that will really be a deciding factor on how the fit goes. Because, you know, I'm not really looking for any kind of like reduction, but just like, you know, everything just sits tightly, you know? And then I feel like there's definitely like along the top panel of the dress, there's some extra fabric, which is fine because if there's extra, I can just cut it down. If there's not enough, that's more of a problem. On the boning, I think that's what I can get done tonight. And then maybe tomorrow I'll try it on and we can take a look at how it is, and then that'll be kind of more final details after that. Oh my gosh. Feel like I'm so ahead of schedule. Famous last words.